Great. All right. Again, Pam has welcomed all of you to this meeting. We're very excited to be doing this with the whole AIR community and others who are interested in AIR-seq data. I'm Nina Luning Prak. I'm the chair of the executive subcommittee of the AIR community, and it is my pleasure to open this meeting with a summary of the executive subcommittee report. But also I just wanted to very briefly summarize for you kind of at a glance what the meeting is going to look like for the next 3 days. So today, as Pam already mentioned, we have the working group and subcommittee reports. We will vote to ratify the working group and subcommittee proposals. So the AIRR-C members will do that. So stay tuned for more information on that. And then there's networking at the end of the day. Tomorrow we have the basic science talks. We also have the ever popular AIR community software demonstrations, the poster session, and network. And then on Thursday, we'll have the translational science talks, again, another poster session, the AIR community announcements with the anticipated election results, as well as further networking. So notice that at the end of each day, there are networking opportunities. And we, the meetings committee has worked really hard on organizing this so that there is an opportunity for people in the meeting to get together and to, in real time, coordinate certain aspects of the AIR community work. So hopefully this makes sense. And again, if you have questions, please, avail yourself of the Q&A function. So without further ado, let me start by telling you about the AIRR-C executive subcommittee and give you a report on that. So I want to just overview for you our members, our goals, our achievements, future directions that are proposed as motions, and also the leadership plan. So this is the AIRR-C executive subcommittee. And so we were created at the third AIR community meeting. The current members of the AIR executive subcommittee are the chair, myself, the chair-elect, Lindsay Cowell, the past chair, Felix Braden, and then 3 members at large, Victor Greif, Christian Busse, and Steve Kleinstein. We have done monthly video conferences. Our minutes are recorded and available online. And last but certainly not least, Pam Borkhardt is at the core of everything that we do in the executive subcommittee. She has been really a driving force within the AIR community and with helping us in so many ways, as you will see throughout this meeting, I'm sure. Okay, so let's get this slide to advance. So to highlight some of what the AIRR-C executive subcommittee does, I thought it might be worth showing you this in a little bit of detail for each of the members of the executive subcommittee. So in addition to being on the executive subcommittee, I hope it's clear that each of us is very dedicated to the AIR community and has lots of roles in the community as well as just in the AIR-seq field at large. And so I'm not going to belabor this too much, but I think you can see kind of some of the things that various members of our committee have contributed. For example, Felix, and we're kind of going in alphabetical order here, of course, was the former chair of the executive subcommittee, but has organized meetings and workshops, including the one that we just had with Tsinghua University in China this past weekend, which was very exciting and interesting. And we hope will further the partnership between the AIR community and China. He has worked tirelessly on our membership campaign. He's done a lot of outreach to IUIS, worked, of course, with the AIR Data Commons, leads the iReceptor project as part of that, and has published, along with Jamie Scott and others, paper on FAIR principles and systems immunology, and is also a member of other working groups, including the Data Representation Working Group and the Diagnostics Working Group. Christian Busse, I think, holds the prize for being the member of the most working groups in the AIR community. He's on almost every single one of them, and knows more, I think, about the AIR community than almost any other human being, except possibly Pam. And so he's very well connected to a lot of the very technical initiatives that are going on in the AIR community. He has been at the core of the MyAIR standard, and his expertise in single cell immune repertoire profiling has really improved that standard. He's also passionate about legal and ethics and IP components of AIR-seq data, and is really an incredible resource for all of us. He has also been working over the past several months to promote AIR standards, data sharing, outreach to groups within Europe, and as part of the Europe Open Science Initiative, and also has made has done outreach with Euroclonality, and we're very excited to work with people in Euroclonality. We just had a meeting with the Diagnostics Working Group, and members of the Euroclonality initiative were in that pre-meeting as well. Lindsay Cowell, our chair-elect, is also the co-lead of the Common Repository Working Group, participates in AIR standards documentation, is of course the leader of VDJ Server, one of the major data portals and analysis portals, frameworks for AIR-seq data. She has published a number of papers in the last year, and has co-chaired the COVID-19 AIR-C Symposium back in September, and also published the AIR Data Commons API paper this past year. Victor Greif is one of our members at large, but is also the co-lead of the AIRR-C Communications Subcommittee, and has been extremely busy with that committee, doing all sorts of good things for our community. Since we last met as a larger group, we've finalized all sorts of things like the logo, as you can see above me in my virtual image here. There are compliance badges for software. There's a Twitter feed. Of course, there's numerous changes to the website that you'll hear about from the communications subcommittee presentation. He's also a member of the Diagnostics and Germline Database Working Groups, and is an expert in machine learning and other computational approaches to the analysis of AIR-seq data, and has an incredible like 10 publications in the past year on AIR-seq and counting. There are more that are as preprints available. Steve Kleinstein, of course, is a very old friend and former co-lead of the Minimal Standards Working Group. He has hosted seminars on AIR-seq data analysis. He promotes AIR-seq or AIR community recommendations for inferred alleles and standard data representations, has a number of papers in the COVID-19, and of course his lab is the basis for where the incantation framework of computational tools that many of us use for AIR-seq data analysis resides. And he also, I would have to say, has one of the most active Twitter feeds of any scientist I know, and actively tweets about the AIR community constantly. So this is wonderful for us. And then last but not least, yours truly, I'm the chair, and I think a lot of what I have done is really thanks to Pam Borchardt and all her tireless efforts. And so I won't belabor the list here, because we'll go through that in a little more detail. So in terms of our goals and what we've done, our goals from the last meeting that were ratified in Genoa were to adopt a new governance structure and integrate that with the Antibody Society. This was a major task, and again, Pam and also members of the executive subcommittee worked very hard on this. So this has been completed. The Minimal Standards Working Group, there was a proposal to reorganize that, but that did not happen in the way that we thought it would. So the Minimal Standards group is still a working group at this point. Oversee formal ratification of the Inferred Allele Review Committee and the Communications Subcommittee. Those tasks were accomplished. And oversee and promote further integration with the Antibody Society, including adding AIR-C members on the board of directors, the Meetings Committee, and the Finance and Audit Committee. That all happened. So that's that. In terms of achievements, again, I want to thank Pam for so much work on this. So we convened monthly meetings. We reviewed publications that were presented for AIR-C endorsement. So this is something that is a benefit of being part of the AIR community, is that if you publish a paper that is germane to or mission critical to the working groups within the AIR community, those papers are things that can be endorsed by the community as a whole. And so there were 4 such papers that we endorsed over the past year. And that's one of the executive subcommittee roles. We also revised and adopted, as I mentioned before, a detailed governance structure, integrated that with tabs, and also have members of the AIR community serving in various roles within tabs, most notably Jamie Scott, who has been part of TABS for a long time and has done an awful lot of work in their initiatives committee and other committees as well. We submitted a meetings grant application. We oversaw the diagnostics working group ratification, as well as the ratification of AIRRC and the communications subcommittees. We did some other administrative things, and we have conducted an election that hopefully is less contentious than the US election for the new membership of the AIRR-C Executive Subcommittee per our governance. Okay, so what are our proposed goals? So we have several areas that we would like to continue to work on, and this is work that will be carried out by the new executive subcommittee under the leadership of Lindsay Cowell, and we will have there are sort of several domains here. One is communication and organization. We will continue to have regular meetings, including meetings with the leadership of the working groups and subcommittees. We will facilitate and promote the working groups and subcommittees. That's really our main role in the executive subcommittee. So that includes things like manuscript endorsements, writing letters of support for grant applications, potentially establishing an infrastructure grant for the AIR community, and establishing one or more AIRR-C prizes. And maybe we can talk more about some of how to flesh those things out in the hot topics section that's coming up later today. Also, in terms of governance, the things that we do are oversee any proposed and ratified working group and subcommittee reorganizations. We are constantly updating the governance structure, but the one minor task, I think, is to change the mission statement slightly and align it with the revised TABS mission statement, perhaps to develop a conflict of interest policy, and also to maintain our representation on the TABS Board of Director and Finance and Audit Committee, and potentially other committees as well. And another area that we think we should work on is to promote our more junior members, including student members especially. So it has been proposed by some of you that maybe we should do a questionnaire to determine the needs and interests of the AIRR-C student members, and also have outreach and mentoring for students and other members of the AIR community, promote the career development of AIR community members, writing letters of recommendation, networking, etc. And then last but not least, we work collaboratively with the communications committee, meetings committee, and others within the AIR community to promote commercial and academic partnerships that can lead to greater sharing, annotation, and standardization of AIR-C data. And we hope also in that vein to further encourage adoption of AIR-C standards by journals and funding agencies. So that it's an ambitious list for sure, but I think it's something that we are passionate about, and I look forward to working with the new executive subcommittee on pursuing these goals. So in terms of future membership and leadership, all I can tell you right now, more to come on Thursday, but right now, Lindsay is our chair-elect. I will be the past chair, and all of the other elected positions will be announced on Thursday. And again, the election of the next executive subcommittee will follow the same procedure as the election of this one, per our governance document, which is available online. And I think with that, I'd just like to thank you, and to keep the program moving, I think we can get to the next group's presentation.